This person's responding to a meme. The meme is the one where it's got the woman going, and then the cat eating a bowl of salad, except the cat's a picture of my face from when I got in the paper over Christmas. And it says, "You kill animals," and I'm going, "They're already dead." So you got the idea of the meme there. I'd probably just even show you the meme. It'd make more sense, wouldn't it? There you go, there's the meme. Now, give that a second to find the light again. They've put, "Definitely not for the demand you have. Where do you get these animals?" Which again shows that they've not read anything anywhere on any of my pages around. So this is probably my favourite interaction of all of this, because I get to show myself a little bit. So I said, pet shops, estate managers and pest controllers, they sell them frozen, which they do. As I've said before, rats, mice, rabbits, hamsters, chicks, stuff like that. Pet shops sell it frozen for snake food in the UK. You can buy it at any pet shop. The moles, squirrels, or the rabbits, foxes and that. Estate managers and pest controllers, they usually send them in the post frozen. Anyway, now, back and forth. They sell them frozen, I said so. Remember, this hand is them, this hand is me. Yeah, they might be dead when you receive them, but someone killed them and you're paying for it. Fucking twisted. Plastic is made from dead animals mostly. It could be argued that glass is too. The minerals used to make glass will be from stones that may have contained fossilised tissue. Paper comes from trees, which are a food source for animals and a home for humans. Fruit and vegetables shouldn't be grown for human consumption. They shouldn't be farmed. They should be left where they are naturally for the animals and people nearby to live off of them. Everything has negative consequences. Everything has more than one side to it. It must be terrifying to live in a world where you're constantly aware of death and see death everywhere you look. Tiring too, I expect. And then I gave another answer, which I think they must have removed the comments, I'm not too sure. But plastic can be created from oil, which is made from the breakdown of minerals in the earth. Some of those minerals will be from dinosaurs. They are also already dead when they collect the oil, just like the chicks are already dead when I buy them. The only difference here is time, albeit a few billion years, but still them fossilised remains were once living creatures too, and now we use them to get light into our homes and transport fizzy drinks. What, dude? And then she sent me a link on how plastics are made. Someone said mental gymnastics level maximum. I don't know whose side they're on, or if they're on a side, or if they're just confused. To me, this all made perfect sense. And then someone else has put, plastic is made from crude oil and coal. Oil is a fossil fuel that has been formed from a large amount of tiny plants and animals such as algae and zooplankton. So maybe not dinosaurs, but still, plankton is a living organism, an animal of sorts. It's eaten by whales and that. It's an animal that has, fucking, what's it called? It's also known as like krill and that. It's got, it can photosynthesize, I think, but I think it classes as an animal. I'm not sure where it lands on the taxonomy charts or whatever you want to call it, tree. Anyway, I'll get back to this. Limestone is made up of shells and organisms. That type of environment is where organisms capable of forming calcium carbonate shells and skeletons can easily extract the needed ingredients from ocean water. When these animals die, their shell and skeletal debris accumulate as a sediment that might be lithified into limestone. Lithified is a fucking good word. I don't know what it means, but it's cool. Their waste products can also contribute to the sediment mass. Limestones formed from this type of sediment are biological sedimentary rocks. Now, I don't know if that's supporting me or not, I've got no idea. But as far as I'm aware, glass is made from sands, and sands will probably come from a sedimentary rock because that's the easiest one to break down with water, because it's layers upon layers upon layers. So that, I would have thought, rather than like igneous rock or metamorphic rock, unless they're the same thing. But sedimentary is like sand layers, so that'll break down into, I imagine, sand, which you can make glass with, I presume, unless you now make glass from silica, which then it's not glass, I presume it's plastic. Someone's then put, to me, I actually think I'm in love with you. Yeah, fucking buzzing, mate, you're glad you're on my side. They were going to be killed independent of this demand, and their end far less dignified than a Nito art project. Imagine if they just bagged them and threw them out to me. That would sure be a good end, huh? And then the person responding back to me, plastic and glass do not come from dead animals. First of all, fossilised remains are natural in the earth. Don't see how that relates to glass. And then they just stopped, so I stopped, because that's what I'll do. If you stop, I'll stop. I mean, there's not much really to say back to that other than reread what I said. I'm not going to repeat myself to people if I can help it. But yeah, that's one of my favourite ones. I talked about the plastic and the glass and that. It is, though, the only difference there is time. They're melted down dinosaurs. In essence, these are made from melted down dinosaurs with modern day dinosaur hearts inside. There's no, I know I keep harking on about that, but I think it's a good, and these keep saying, oh, you're not an artist and that. And I'm not an artist, but that sounds artistic, so we're going with it. See, some of them are being a bit sly. Some of them are writing one thing, then you answer it, and then they go back and change it. But I don't think they realise that you can look at the edited comment. So normally I would just do that for spelling mistakes or something, but this person. Shame on you people eating or using animal parts in 2020. Go Corona. They've changed that to shame on you people eating or using animal parts in 2020. We need to change our relationship to other animals and Mother Nature. Right, so they're not sticking by what they're saying, which is annoying. So I did talk to this one. I did bite, I'll be honest. I said, shame on you for cheering on an illness that has killed people's mothers, sons, husbands, listed family members. It's all because you think everyone should live life as you do. Shame on you. And they've put, shame on you for exploiting animals. What I meant is that with the threat of corona or of other future outbursts, nobody should use or eat these products / support the industry that created it from the first place. Then people start arguing amongst themselves. Here's my response to it. You cheered on coronavirus, but I'll humour you. What should we do with all the animals in farms and factories then? Do we kill them and burn their bodies, or do we eat them and use them as intended, then stop when there's none left? What about for testing medicines and that? I'd rather a medicine or treatment was tested on a few thousand times on mice than on humans. Development would take way too long if we kept killing off the humans and you had to wait the full gestation period of a woman to get your next test subject. At least with mice you can test on a fair few generations within a year. Do the people that promote all this vegan stuff have GoFundMes and merchandise shops? Do they monetize their social media content? Is there the possibility that someone is using your emotions to manipulate you and others into funding their lives? This one is, and then it gets confusing, the response to that from another person. So, they're saying you, meaning me. And then they don't say me, meaning them, they just say nothing. So when I say you, I'm talking about what they're putting words into my mouth or quoting me, I'm not too sure yet. So, you, what should we do with all the animals in farms and factories then? Oh, they're quoting me from the previous message. Useful. No demand for meat, no more animal agriculture. The hundreds of millions of animals would drastically decrease since it is the same industry that raises animals constantly. You. What about for testing medicines and that? I'd rather a medicine or treatment was tested on a few thousand times on mice than on humans. Lots of studies that I forward to you, they haven't forwarded anything to me, show that just because a drug was, not that I'm aware of anyway, just that a drug was tested on an animal doesn't mean it will work on humans. After testing has passed animal testing, it goes to the clinical trials on humans. No drug can be approached if it hasn't been tested on animals first. That just means that we cannot be sure that this drug will actually work on humans. Animal testing is so unreliable that it is estimated about 95% of drugs fail on the clinical testing. So it's my rebuttal. That may be so, but if you give a few dozen mice a tablet and it makes their eyes explode, they've learnt something there. They may not know if it'll work, but they'll get a bearing on whether it's going to be extremely hazardous. Why is it okay for them farm animals to die out? For the animals that you want to protect to be killed, their future generations stop from living any form of life rather than some form of life. Have you ever wondered why someone might push such a massive societal change such as veganism? What if it's because all the land taken up by farms is wanted by another corporation? They'd surely be half the farmland going begging if they had no longer needed to store and feed their livestock, so that land either gains or loses value, so that land can later become some warehouse for drones to take off from to deliver your packages you bought online. I'd rather see cows, pigs, horses and sheep knocking about in fields rather than a big grey building spitting out delivery drones. Literally, the people are wishing their own death on people by causing corona. Animal abusers did this. Put the blame where it belongs. That's, again, most likely propaganda and not true. I don't know if it's true. I really don't. But how, even if it is true, because it could be, but I don't think we would know categorically yes or no. As far as the public's aware, this has only been going on for a couple of months. We're not going to be given all the information. All they want to do is keep us calm. So that they're not going to be saying, oh, this is causing it, because all the farmers are being uproar, the butchers are being uproar. Just annoying. And then she's quoted me as a direct quote, speech marks rather than quotation marks, as if I'm saying this, but I don't know who is actually saying this, but I think it's supposed to be me, but it's something that I've never said. It's not okay to wish death on anyone unless it's the animals I want to make into toys. The reason why I would never say that is because I don't make any toys. I haven't made anything that I would consider to be a toy. They're just ornaments. They're just things to put on a shelf, to wear. I don't wish their deaths upon them. This is me. I don't wish their deaths upon them. I don't have to pray to the big taxidermist in the sky, hoping there'll be a bountiful harvest in my pet shop's freezer every other week. They're dead. You get killed. I'm not a particularly superstitious person. If I went 1 week and there weren't that many, I'd buy less. Or I'd wait a week. Wishing isn't going to help me. Until I started getting harassed by people, I'd never known of anyone being used as a term that covers any living organism. It's used for people. I don't make toys. I don't think there is any categorical proof anywhere to say the exact cause of this particular coronavirus mutation. I'd second guess anyone that tells you they have the answer to it, because odds are they're trying to sell you something, whether it be a product or an ideology. And then someone's pointing out their hypocrisy here, or their cognitive dissonance almost. I'm using their terms now, I'm learning the way they speak, so hopefully I'll be able to have a conversation with them. Imagine hating the taxidermy industry because of animals naturally dying while simultaneously wishing death on people. No. I think this is going to take a turn. I feel like this is going to take a turn. I think we're near the end though, so we'll crack on. We've only a few more left. If you care to read any studies that also talk about SARS and other coronavirus, they come from bats, and all the evidence points to the wet markets and horseshoe bats. They just aren't sure how it mutated. It's highly speculated that it mutated on a pangolin. Read up before you speak up. These resin dinosaurs are novelty toys. Also, if you put your money into dead animals and putting energy into defending killing animals, you are wishing death on them. You can keep trying to argue, but you look like a fool. You aren't being harassed, you're exploiting animals on social media and getting called out. Your logic is so painful. And then again, they're just answering themselves. You don't have a right to be doing what you're doing, period. And someone's put, it's not funny, I wish the best for you and your family. This isn't talking to me though, this is to someone else. I also wish that animals were treated with respect. I don't wish it on anybody. I wish these viruses would obtain people from supporting the industry. See, I don't wish it on anybody. I wish these viruses would obtain people from supporting the industry, but I'm pretty sure you won't stop. I don't even know who that's aimed at. That's aimed at, the name's there for who it's aimed at, but it doesn't really make much sense to the response. See, this is the thing. Loads of people are arguing and they all use language differently. I don't know how to... It's hard to communicate with people because it's purely through written word. We've got no understanding of each other's vocabulary or the way each other uses language. So you can't have a conversation. You can't have a back and forth because it doesn't work. I may be in the wrong. In some of these discussions, I may be completely wrong. Everything I'm saying could be wrong. Could be. I wouldn't know. I don't spend my time researching things like this because I'm always cutting up animals to make stuff from. Like, that's what I really enjoy. I enjoy learning about aliens and that because it's fun, it's weird, it's fun. I enjoy it. It's keeps my imagination going. It keeps I can see it all in my head playing out. It's nice. And I like chopping up animals and making stuff out of them that might make people laugh. But some of this is mental. Like, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not even sure pangolins... I know they've not specifically said... The wet markets are supposed to be of Chinese origin, as far as I'm aware from what I've seen in news stories, the ones I have seen like on the telly and that. But a pangolin, I don't know if pangolins even live in that area of the world. I don't know. Anyway, that's one.